Good morning. Many blessings to you all. Rukmani Kaur here. I received a message and I'm delivering it. Well, it was upon watching this video of this beautiful being that was sharing her story. And I've been wanting to fully share my story with you all about my awakening, of course, because it has so much to do with my work at this moment in time and the work that I'll continue to do for us all, for humanity, for existence. And to be completely honest, I was fearful of really saying what goes on within myself and what has gone, what has happened, because it has been really intense, and because truly it was a very hard time in my life. Doesn't mean that I don't go through hard moments in my life at this moment, but at the particular moment, especially when the Kundalini energy showed up, everything changed. And even though I allowed the experience to fully come, I was lost, completely lost. And I kept losing myself until I decided to find myself, and then I lost myself again. And now it's going back into finding myself. So I will be making these videos when the heart wants to speak, okay? I will start with my journey at this moment in time, being completely honest and raw. If tears come up, well, tears come up. Because it's still a very sensitive and very private subject. And the reason why I'm sharing it is because just the same reason why I do my work. You're not alone in this shift. You're not alone in awakening. And your awakening may be so subtle or so gentle in comparison to mine. Mine was very intense, and sometimes it continues to be intense. And I've been told that by, my boyfriend and other friends that it's one of the most intense awakenings I've seen. So I'm sharing this with you so you understand more the space that I come from when I do my work and how everything happened. This is not to put in your mind that this is how your awakening is going to be, because again, it's like my friends, people that work also in the same field about helping and guiding people through their awakening process have said, thank you, Wind, that mine is one of the most intensive seen, okay? So please let your own process unfold and just listen this from the space of unconditional love and compassion. And I hope that you will understand a little bit of my journey and why I do what I do. So, starting with what's going on right now. There's so much being cleared up, especially on my left side. So much. From my neck, from the back of my my left shoulder blade to the side, like the back of the heart on the left, all the way up to the back of the head on the left side. A little bit at the bottom, on the center, and then on the left side. And there's a little cracking that happens. If you don't even know what that means, it's literally my body does these things and it cracks, it finds this spot, and it's like the weirdest thing at times, because sometimes, most of the time, of course, I'm not watching myself, but sometimes I get curious of the way that I look when all these things happen, and I go in front of the mirror and I'm looking at myself and my body goes like this and it begins to crack, and it literally like finds a really not so, what is that word in English? Not so beautiful position. Not so beautiful position. And it stays and until it cracks, and it's like I feel all the energy moving, and I haven't been able to sleep. I haven't been able to sleep very well. I woke up throughout the night because my body moves and it cracks. And this has been happening for over a year and a half. And the cracking is not very subtle, you know? So when it all started, it was kind of cool, because it was like, oh, cool, I'm cracking, I feel the energy moving around, you know? And it started a little bit gentle, and then it got kind of intense, and it went back into being gentle, and now it's like really intense again. But I trust what is happening, you know? I trust what is happening, and I sense that it's the beginning of the end, which is also a new beginning, right? A couple of weeks ago, because this happens, it just happens. Yesterday we went into this small city, which by the way was awesome, walking around in a city after 5 months of being in the countryside of Colombia, which I obviously love it here anyway. But we were in the car coming back and going that way, and it was just doing this, you know, and I could stop it, but I don't want to stop it, because it's my own process, you know? Like, of course, if I were to get in a trance in a car, then maybe I'll do something about it, right? Because there's people around, but I really don't, you know? And even if I look so weird and funky to other people, I trust my being that it needs to do that at that specific moment in time for some special reason. You know, I don't categorize it as negative. I see it all being divinely guided, and that is beautiful. That is really, really beautiful. But so a couple of weeks ago, I had this really intense thing, because at times, you know, like the energy gets so tight that it makes my body shake. And I was in the kitchen, and it began to do this. This is what it does. I'm not doing this. I mean, obviously I am, but like my body is doing this, and I'm not sure if you can hear it cracking, but this is what happens, right? And that was actually really gentle. But anyway, so I was in the kitchen, and my neck was already cracking as it was at that moment, but then my body started to shake, especially my head started to shake so much that I couldn't do anything. I collapsed on my knees, and I was on my hands and knees on the floor, and my neck just began to do all these things, and it felt like the back of my neck right here, something was opening up, like if there was an armor there, and it was just being like crack open. And I screamed, you know, so loudly. Don't get worried, because everything that happens, trust me, I don't fear that something bad is happening, okay? I don't sense that something bad is happening. It's just happening, and I let it do it. But it was just like pulling, you know, and I was like screaming, and all this thing was moving, and then something cracked on the left side, with the part where it has been tight with energy. And I knew, I hadn't felt that before. Like, I knew, like, okay, something different is happening, and I can sense that it's something good again, you know? So I let it do it, and I think that night I went into a trance. You know, what do I believe is a trance? When the energies are just moving, and I surrender, and I let my body do whatever movements it needs to do. And normally when that happens, light language is being channeled through me, and I open sacred space right when it's starting. I open sacred space, I call upon angels, Mother Earth, etc., all the beings that I work with, that I connect deeply with. I protect myself, and then I just let the process unfold. And it's different every time, you know, but like the one thing that hasn't changed in a while, it's the cracking. And the cracking and the light language, you know, and sometimes crying. But so what is opening up right now is the back of my heart, and I realized why a couple days ago. That is because I personally haven't really been taking care of myself. I come from a family that you always put everybody else first. So in a sense, it's kind of in my bubble, you know? And I didn't really realize that until a couple of days ago. where my sweet grandma came to my dreams. She's such an angel. She's always been here with me since she passed, and before too. But remember that the heart it's the most beautiful space that we have, you know. So as all these things were cracking and opening up and energy releasing and energy being moved around, then it came to me that I haven't really been taking care of me, that I've been putting other people in front of me. In a sense, it was an unconscious pattern, you know. That happens, you know, it happens. So I decided, it's like I can't, you know, it's too much, and because of all this, you know, and it's connected, of course, to the third eye and the crown. My psychic abilities are intensifying, they are coming online stronger, and the other things, you know, are psychic abilities that well, maybe I had him at that moment in time, but I wasn't really aware that I had him, are coming online. And so there's so many feelings, there's so many hearing, there's so much visions, it's like all these things, you know, that I was feeling so sorry for having that, you know. It's like thinking, like, is this going to hurt someone? If I share this, like, how will the other person feel? And making my gifts feeling that they were bad, you know. And so when I had that awareness, it's like, enough, like I don't, thank you. I don't want to feel sorry about what comes through me. I don't want to label my gifts or my being. I just want to let it be. And I want to be free from the condition in our world, in our society, that whatever you feel might hurt somebody else. Whatever you speak, if it's from the heart, you know, it might harm someone, and then you just feel so guilty and you hide your being. And I did that for so long that I no longer want to do that. So I had this awareness, this moment, like, enough. I don't want to feel sorry for what comes through me. I want to explore my being the way that my being wants to let me explore it. And I want to let it do its thing without worrying about someone, just worrying about me, taking care of me. And that's what it's been showing me, you know. And of course, there's all these memories that come through that I was I was a really shitty person at times, you know. Like, we all go through those things. And so, of course, those things will come up when I feel so guilty about different situations and what I said or what I didn't say, or how I said it or how I didn't say it. And it's not very easy to look at those things, right? To look at those aspects of you and be like, holy shit, I said those things and I did those things, and wow, right? But it makes me have more compassion for myself as well, because without all those things that happen, I wouldn't be here sitting and I wouldn't be doing the work that I do. That it's been a really intense weeks, you know, very intense weeks, as I'm letting this process continue to unfold itself. Not really being able to sleep, you know. Normally I love waking up in the morning, like really early, and meditate when everything is in complete stillness, nobody's up, and I can't even do that anymore for now. Now, because I wake up even if it's at midnight or 4 in the morning and I can't go back to bed, and I'm just meditating there, and then I finally pass out and wake up at 9 in the morning, which like is kind of really late for me, you know. So it's also that pattern of like, you don't have to live your life like this, because it's so masculine to me, and then to me I flow more, you know, and I let things flow. So I'm trying, and I'm actually doing it, like not to have so much constraints, and I just let me do what I must, you know. But the cracking has been kind of painful, especially when I wake up throughout the night, because I could be laying down completely asleep, and then my body begins to do this and it cracks, and it's like, okay, So I sit up, and there's this moments where my head tends to go like this, and that's all the energy that is being just pulled in different directions, and there's that tightness, and it's just like, it feels like, honestly, it feels like my brain hurts. I've heard that, you know, that's not a possibility, but and that your brain actually never hurts, but from my perspective, from my experience, it feels like everything's just being pulled apart. And although it's a good feeling, that it's really intense, you know, and I've been so tired in the morning, so tired, but I still do my work, you know, and I do it because, goodness, it's if somebody is experiencing the same thing, I want them to know they're not alone. And even though at times it could be painful, and again, remember that my awakening process, it's completely different than yours, okay? But if somebody is going through the same thing, like, I want you to know that you're not alone in this. You know, you're not alone. And I've gone through so many trances and so many awakenings that were like blissful and painful and etc., and painful and blissful at the same time. That's why I dedicate my life to be of service to us all, you know, because it's something we all go through, even if we think we're not. You know, it's just, do we suppress it, or do we allow it to happen? And that's where I am at the moment. That's where I am at the moment. And I trust fully. I fully trust. I know that my divine essence and the divine essence of life, like God, would not give me the opportunity to experience this kind of process if it was going to harm me. And I understand more every day that what I went through was all leading me to guide people through the same stuff or similar stuff. So here I am. So here I am. And I love so much. I love so much, and I trust so much, and I know that eventually it will stop somehow, you know? Perhaps not fully, but maybe the intense cracking, it will completely pass as the energy continues to clear. And then it won't be as intense. And then it will be like, wow, I made it. I can say I made it. Well, I've been making it, you know? And then I know how it feels like from the beginning, the middle, the throughout, and the ending point. But I'm not so worried much about the ending, because it is all in between, right? The first, the beginning, and the end. That matters so much. Plus the company. Plus the company. Your own company, first of all, right? So, yeah. I will share more later. And please remember that hear it, whatever I just said, listen to it and let it go. Don't get caught up in like, is this what's going to happen to me? Let your being guide you through that which is happening through you, for you. Yeah. Okay. Oh. So much love, many blessings. Thank you for watching. If you resonate, if you want to share this video, please, it will be good to share my story, to share our message of unconditional love and compassion, and to build this beautiful community that we have begun to build together.